Okay, good afternoon. Just a couple of people flying into the room late, having made their cups of tea. Thank you all for joining us. We'll kick off we'll kick off about now. Thank you very much for taking the time to join us here at VanillaIP and for coming to try and find out a little bit about what we're thinking at the moment and how we feel we're in a very strong position to help resellers and distributors service their business customers, whilst we're in isolation, but most critically, when we're back in business as usual. So what we're aiming to do today, it's not a big sell, just a few thoughts to share with you. We'd love to reach out to you and spend a bit of time talking about what we do in more detail. My channel management team are on the line here and be more than happy to extend the conversation. But we're interested to know what your challenges are, what you think the marketplace going forward is going to need, and how you think that things have changed over the last little while. We do obviously live in changed times, and I think that's probably the biggest consensus that our industry has had for some time. And COVID-19 has definitely changed the landscape. I think in cloud communications, we were still fairly frustrated by the idea that so many of the people that we would work with or would like to work with were sitting back and not really taking part in the true cloud business. But certainly over the last 5-6 weeks, people have engaged with a lot of cloud products. People have engaged with a different sort of working environment. And I think it's brought forward the conversation and the agenda that you probably expect to be having with your clients going forward. So within that, we can say that probably all businesses who've been able to continue to operate and are not solely based in single manufacturing plants have been able to take advantage of workplace flexibility as a crisis management tool. So we've been forced into it. There's an awful lot of this sort of meeting going on. There's an awful lot of video meetings going on. I don't think you can move for pictures of video meetings on LinkedIn at the moment. But as well as understanding some of the advantages of the crisis, of working place flexibility during this crisis, I think we also understand the challenge of enabling staff to be productive from home. So we've learned a lot from the result of going to home. We recognize some of the tools that are available to make us flexible. We probably recognize the different tools that suit different people. And we've also seen some of the shortcomings of working in a full-time remote operation. So again, I think the conversation will come back more towards the balance and the sort of flexible part home, part office type environment. I don't think there'll be too many takers for full isolation as an alternative to the previous working environment. But customers may still need to get some comfort about how they can manage and control performance. This was one of the fundamental reasons why workplace changes have been so slow in the UK. It's not really been a technology thing. It's not really been a connectivity thing. It's been a lot to do with the fact that busy SMB managers don't know how to control, measure, manage their staff if they're not in the office, and they don't seem confident enough in those staff, or haven't seemed confident enough in those staff to trust them with the freedom of a different type of working. So we may still need to deliver comfort on that, and we'll talk a bit more about the importance of our cloud management platform and the unique blend of analytics and reports that they can get at a customer level and you can get at a partner level in order to ensure that we're testing the performance of people, both perhaps as a benchmark before they have flexible working and then after the operation of flexible working starts to go through a business. So a lot about what we do is not just the tools, but also the management control and reporting capabilities that go behind it. They may also still need the freedom to test and evolve the solutions that they need to use. And I think this is, again, been one of the big holdbacks. There's a fear of investing in new technology that you don't understand, to work in different ways that you haven't yet proven. And putting that into a long-term contract is a very difficult scenario. So people will need a freedom to test and evolve in a way that doesn't pose a massive risk or threat to the business. And we may still need to deploy some pretty low-cost solutions. Businesses may return to work fairly commercially fragile. So whilst lessons may be learned and desires may be there for change, there may be a period where they just need to be rock solid on their cost structure, but perhaps more certain that should demands suddenly change, should they have to flex again, they're at least covered by a supplier who can do that in an elegant and speedy way. So we've spoken for a couple of years now. This slide was developed a couple of years now to just highlight how we think the true cloud model is evolving, and certainly our current partners are evolving this particular financial commercial model really well. So there's core proposition sitting in the middle. Let's call it dial tone PBX. It's the straightforward phone on the desk style PBX replacement services, hunt groups, pickup groups, all that good stuff. Still a great part of what businesses want and need to use, but really wrapped around in this traditional workplace environment, workplace logic that goes on. Now, on top of that, we've seen this great evolution of mobility products as people do start to do more work away from home, or incorporate their traveling staffing into the core communication structure for reporting, control, and easy communications. We saw a lot in the last 18 months, 2 years before COVID-19 really took the agenda, of people moving from help desks and hunt groups into contact centers so that they could expand from simple voice to a much more elegant and controlled voice, but also add omni-channel solutions such as web chat, Twitter queues, email queues, that sort of thing. So there's an evolution of the customer experience which is being demanded of many of our customers. And it's important that we don't just get fixated with the mobility, flexibility, home worker scenario. Businesses need to deliver that customer experience and need to deliver when and how their customers wish to communicate. And then there's another cornerstone of the VanillaIP proposition, that is that third-party products will play a massive role. So we bring into our portfolio other great third-party products. Those of you who've been watching us will have seen the Akixi products coming in. You'll have seen the Mondago products coming in. You'll know that we've had a long-term relationship with Kakapo. We also build some of our own products. Our call recording solutions are all in-house developed and linked directly to the management portal. But we've never suggested that we will always be best in class at everything. And we've made sure that the YouBoss portal leaves the decision making up to the reseller. And as a reseller, you're able to bring in other third-party products that you may want to sell. So you may already have relationships with Microsoft on 365 and be using the Teams stuff. You may have the other SaaS models that you like to send out in either IT or IP. You may have some other more traditional services or other strands to your business. The idea with YouBoss is that you can bring in your best-in-class blends. And if you have a product that competes with one that I think is great, but you don't think is as good as this other one, that's your choice. You bring it into the portfolio and create your unique mix of products to take to marketplace, just presenting them in a very unified way. And all of this has led towards what we consider the fundamental change in our approach, or the fundamental natural evolution of our approach, and what we think could be the biggest market disturbance factor that comes in the next 12 months, 24 months. And that is that the buyer, the businesses we serve, will struggle to move forward into taking our technology and really embracing and using it strongly if they feel risk. So as cloud players, we are in this phenomenally advantageous position of being able to take the risk and remove the risk from the customer, principally by looking at 30-day agreements on application services that we can deliver. And we'll talk a lot when we get together about how a marketplace player who is able to sell this core belief, this core strategy, before they start to talk about the applications and services, should meet buyers and should meet their prospective customers with an open mind, because the customer, now not faced with risk, can afford to try and engage more fully, more practically, and take on the challenges within their business. And this then drives the second half of what we think is the modern model, where we start the customer relationship, as always, with an investigation, a fact find, that traditional part of initial engagement with the customer. But its desire is not to end in a sale, but to end in a perpetual partnership of technology deployment and business outcome chasing. So we would design a solution, you would design a solution with your customer, you'd deploy it and train it, but then critically you would measure it and you'd review it against the initial expectations of the customer. You would prove to yourself and to your customer that there was a productive result, the productive result that you were looking for. You proved that there was a return on the investment, and you would keep the product and evolve onto the next requirement. Or you would discover that despite your best efforts, the deployment had not delivered the result you wanted, and you needed to go back to the drawing board. This is a very healthy way to engage as a trusted supplier and a trusted advisor. And I believe that selling this proposition to the marketplace could really disturb the ground. And as long as you are comfortable in working in a perpetual revenue-based relationship, this is a strong way to get market share over the next 12, 18, 24 months. So behind all of this, behind this idea of de-risking the move to technology, and behind this idea of creating a perpetual partnership in chasing productivity and great customer experience, behind that there of course has to be a good portfolio of products. And whilst we leave the door in YouBoss open to you bringing in competitive products, we'd be absolutely thrilled if you sold a whole bunch of the ones that we bring in. And so today, one of the most heavily featured products, and I think from a point of view of all our BroadWorks colleagues and competitors from other platforms as well, the collaboration, the soft phone and collaboration tool suite is very important. And we're absolutely delighted that after quite a slow start in the BroadSoft world, the UC1 Trio that we now have deployed across quite a large number of people, as you'll imagine, is a very, very good, strong, competent soft phone, both on PC, tablet, and mobiles. It's also got a really practical and very effective meeting tool. Yes, video's there, but as all of you I'm sure have found out, once you got over the thrill of seeing what each other's look like and you worked out what's on the wall behind people, moving on to screen sharing, developing documents together, and really running practical meetings is much more of what we're trying to do. And it is a very elegant suite of services, delivering that, as I said, across different devices. And the choices there, the actual interaction of those applications and how they work has been very strong. Also, the ability to really quite simply invite third parties to come in and be fully operational, interactive members of meetings. That's really been a game changer and has moved people away from the sort of single-use products like TeamViewer, which are just meeting rooms, and really blending it in with their extension services, which is what this UC1 Trio proposition is more about. But on the back of this as well, we're sort of really fortunate that we're watching the gentle merger of the full WebEx experience into the UC1 Trio. So as the product evolves over the next 6 months, we'll see more of a full WebEx Teams product coming in at the top end of this. So we're going all the way from a standalone soft phone with no features, maybe for call center operations and an interaction with our Unity call center products, all the way up to big broadcast virtual meetings, virtual webinars, and that sort of thing. So great suite to get involved in if you've not utilized it or been involved in it thus far. Beyond that, there is always the name of Microsoft in the background. These guys have done really well and obviously know what they're doing, but have a great team engagement tool. And I think a lot of people have enjoyed either a partial or a deep move into the use of Teams. The bigger the organization, the deeper they tend to go. But there are capabilities for video meetings. There are capabilities for team working solutions and project working that exist in Teams. And it's only, just sort of weakened on the side by the fact that its telephony capabilities, its core functionality for business services isn't and may never be as developed as you would want it to be. So by the fact that we now have our Calls to Teams app, which can bury straight into the Teams application, so it becomes the dial pad of the Teams application, means that you can live within the Teams application for the internal stuff, but still maintain this app as a device for your call center stuff. If you've got omni-channel contact centers working, there is an interaction between their devices and conversations that might start at chat and then need to become an outbound call. You've got the call recording capability. So again, for those of you who focused on call recording as either a training or a remote management tool, or because of compliance, you'll know that a call recording system now has to be very good at offering options of pause and resume, or refusing pause and resume if you're in the financial services, but also the storing, the download, the copy, the proving governance over it. That's all an important part. So having a very strong, competent call recording proposition, I think, is going to be really key, because it does fit into that whole management and compliance window that most people have to deal with. And then we move on from the Calls to Teams. I should say, actually, Calls to Teams, again, forgotten elements of it. Not only is it a PC device that logs into your PC access, but Calls to Teams also means that if you're using the mobile app, you can start to outbound call from your mobile app, and it will run through and again be routed through your VanillaIP telephony service, i.e. call recordings, call loggings, and all that sort of thing. And equally, if you do have a love for devices on desk, bits of plastic, the old style telephone, and we'll see how many numbers survive or grow in the next little while. But you can have a Teams-orientated handset, so you would log into Teams, but your Calls to Teams application would be the thing that drives outbound calls out through your more competent cloud PBX. So that's Calls to Teams, which is obviously finding its headlines in this current climate. I'll go back to talking about the call and contact center again, because if we're talking about the revenue mountain that I highlighted before, and again, at the end of the day, we are all in this business to deliver great service, but to make great profit from it and to get the valuation of our businesses up. The inclusion and the really sort of determined promotion of the call center, the call and contact center products that we have to businesses that are becoming hungry for solutions in the customer experience sense is very important. So we've got voice call queues, we've got omni-channel contact center queues, we've got dashboards, but dashboards related to a supervisor rather than necessarily to a room. So you'll find that a lot of the products that we show within that space are as comfortable working in a widespread workforce, i.e. working from home, working from different offices, follow the sun around the globe, all that sort of thing, as they are in a single call center, traditional call center environment. So these are the tools that you can provide that allow your people to change the working hours that they operate, change the location of their staff while they're working, perhaps the out-of-hours shifts, and change the whole dynamic of how they can respond to the customer's expectations as those customers' expectations change. And as well as just having a great set of solutions with our Unity products, backed up by a phenomenal set of reports in our own portal, YouBoss, we've also brought in some other some other best-in-class and really powerful solution sets, including a Kixie. I haven't put Mundago on the list here, which means somebody from Mundago will shoot me if they see this on the internet. But these guys have been servicing the cloud marketplace for many years. They have very strong products, and we believe that you need to have choice. You need to listen to the customer's requirements and try and tune that proposition more accurately into what these guys need. And that rolls us back to YouBoss. And YouBoss is a big story. And I've highlighted on here some of the facets of YouBoss that really helps you with your customer proposition and your customer with the management of both their proposition and your and their staff performances. So, the heat map at the bottom there is a great representation of an easy call flow diagram that businesses can start to budget their staffing numbers on, etc. But YouBoss also has within it a full set of knock tools. It's designed to allow you as a reseller to own the whole proposition, to build your own packages, to bring products together to create these go-to-market propositions that are unique to you. It handles commercial and contract rules, so you can price things and you can put minimum terms, the 30-day thing on, or if you have to have something that's a 12-month product or a 36-month product, YouBoss can manage those elements. And because of that, you can offer self-service. You can start to drive this app store concept that's been so successful in mobile and start to encourage your customers, the administrative controllers of those customers, to try new apps, to try new services, to deploy things themselves. And you can relax in the fact that because YouBoss is doing the job for you, you will not miss a dime of the revenue that should be collected for those services that deployed. So YouBoss is a fundamental game changer in terms of accelerating the speed in which you can support and deploy to your customers, the self-service capabilities. And I'm sure you can imagine that when we had that surge after lockdown of people going home, the fact that it's a matter of seconds to turn very simple static office worker into somebody with mobile products, soft phones, and deployed at home. I mean, we're talking seconds, and we're talking thousands of people who moved from the office to the home through the smoothness and the smooth deployment capabilities of the YouBoss portal. So this is the future of engagement, a lot of automation, minimum amount of human cost involved in deploying services, and a link through to your technical support at the back so that you can monitor the performance of handsets, monitor the firmware of handsets, monitor the performance of routers in the way of handsets or soft phones, and really just take control of your own base as if you were the platform owner yourself. So it very much is the virtual platform operator model delivered by this cloud management platform, YouBoss. I quite like YouBoss. I could probably talk about it for several hours, but I won't do it now. Give me a call and I'll talk you through it in more detail. So what's the opportunity? The opportunity is, I think, there to talk to a newly awakened marketplace. This is a big shock. It's woken a lot of people up. It's torn the belief away that business as usual is business as usual. It is now a chance to have a look at what the new world should look like and move customers to the true cloud. And again, I come back. If you have the capability of running that true cloud 30-day model, that I think will be one of the inspirations that will help businesses move from traditional PBX worlds and that sort of thing into a more dynamic cloud world. It's not for everybody in terms of the commercials, and we'll talk about that with one of my final slides. But if you can disturb the marketplace like this, there are businesses that need help, need real close help, need constant support in evolving the most efficient proposition. And I think we have the pleasure of being in the right place at the right time to do that for them. And that continuous partnership is that key evolution. The other thing is to build the big value and security in your own base. And I roll back to this idea that it is layers of revenue that protect you from churn. It's layers of revenue that increase the value of your business. The days of contracts being the lock-in are numbered. And I think that whilst there are some services where the payback or the benefit to a contract is still seen, perhaps even in the free handset, if you sign for 36 months, that's still a relatively good trade for a customer to a supplier. But where we can be more nimble, where we don't need to contract, that's really where the trust, engagement, and growth in services comes from. And rather than selling one or two lockdown products, selling 10 or 20 fluid, exciting cloud products is going to be the one that generates our best return. So VanillaIP products, other best-in-class third-party products, your own products that you blend into the mix, your own value that you bring, it's all there to be put together and become your proposition to the marketplace, your portfolio to help the customers through into the next generation of UK business. And I think every UK business just got shown the better way of working. What they need now is somebody to really talk to about that and really evolve it. Employees will want to take advantage of some of this workplace flexibility. Employers can now probably see that there is a good trade. A flexible workforce can be deployed outside of the office quickly, whereas a rigid in-the-office workforce can't. But nobody's going to want to be caught out again. So now's the time to have the conversation about their rapid evolution into a flexible state. And then they can work out how much flexibility they want to give to their workforce in normal running motion, in normal trading times. Naturally, as you'd expect, we have a lot of support going on. There is a lot of marketing support. Everything that we produce is reproduced under our resellers' brands and put into what we call a voice start portal. So a huge number of guides and brochures, et cetera, all in your branding. There's a massive library of webinars and thought leadership posts and little short social media adverts, all of which can be made available to you guys if you're a reseller of VanillaIP or a distributor of VanillaIP, if there's distributors out there. And again, content is there to be plagiarized. The message, if you believe in it, is one of true cloud, and you can cherry pick the bits that fit with you and take it forward. Just to finish off by just trundling through the commercials, as I've said, I believe the marketplace can be can be shook up, and you can take advantage and land grab in this marketplace if you are able to strongly sell the true cloud method and work with customers on the basis of short-term agreements, testing out applications and driving for productive business outcomes. However, the commercial world is a real one. Cash flow is a real thing that we have to deal with. And if you're used to having longer-term relationships pre-packaged so that you can take cash up front to sustain the business, we do 30-day agreements with people. We do 36-month agreements and provide hardware funds to support that. And we also do a number of our licenses in a perpetual sense, so you can buy and a lease, sell and a lease, give a perpetual deal to your customer, that sort of thing. So we're happy to blend it through. I'm sure businesses will be as fluid and as cloud as they can with their customers, but if you have to underpin that with some cash generation, then certainly the VanillaIP proposition is built to give you that option and to allow you to sustain yourself, even if you're just putting yourself on a sort of 1 or 2 year journey to full revenue, and you still need to make cash at this moment. So it's kind of all I really wanted to go through today. Hopefully it's told you a little bit about our mindset and where our mindset has been probably for the last 3-4 years. True cloud is what we think the marketplace wanted anyway. We're pretty certain it's what the marketplace is going to be demanding now that we've had this big shake-up. And we're really interested in talking to other people to see how they might take the services, the portal, the products, the pricing capabilities, the whole management piece and turn that into the way that they go to market and become successful, strong, big players in this evolving true cloud experience. So do please reach out to us after this. I hope you've enjoyed a few thoughts from us. Again, I'm grateful to you taking the time to come out and listen to what we have to say. I don't know that we've got time for questions because it's about 5:30, so we'll let you go. We'll pick up any questions offline with people. But stay safe, keep doing what you're doing, and the very best of luck to you in the future. We hope you come and share it with us.